Hello, YouTube land. I'm guessing you guys thought I forgot all about you. I haven't. I have an account on Real Self, and my username on there is Newzandile, Newzandile. I've been behind there as well, but I'm putting a lot of detail into the stuff I'm writing on there. I'm more of a writer, I think, than I am a talker. So if you really want blow-by-blow details, then I would highly recommend that website in general. But if you find me on there, you can follow along, although I'm way behind. I think I just finished up like 3 days post-op on there, but it's the first 4 days were, first 5 days really, were so much tougher than I could have imagined. And then I had a lot of things that now enough time has passed that I can laugh about them, but a lot of little things that happened. You know, I got my period 2 days afterwards. My bladder wouldn't wake up, so they had to send me home with a Foley catheter. Then I got my period, so I had to deal with both of those at the same time, which was interesting. Then I got horribly, cannot even possibly express to you the degree of constipation I had to deal with, to the point where I was about ready to go to the emergency room because I was convinced I had a bowel impaction. And thankfully my doctor talked me off the ledge probably at like 10:30 at night. The poor man has been a saint. I have tried to leave him alone a fair amount, but those first 4 days I was texting him a lot, and he always texted me back, called me back. So grateful to him. He's a fantastic doctor. But all of that required my poor husband to be a lot more involved in the nitty-gritty of my recovery than he had wanted to be. My stepmother was here pretty much around the clock, but there were certain things that happened in the middle of the night that she just couldn't be here for. So if you want the blow-by-blow, go check out my review on the Real Self, and you can get all the gory details. I think that's a better way to get them than through here. Let's see, surgery was Tuesday the 25th. All of that stuff was happening. Friday night, finally got some relief. Saturday and Sunday, that first weekend, went pretty well. I was starting to feel pretty full of myself, kind of cocky, everything's going fine. And then Sunday evening, late, one of my drains like completely clogged up and stopped draining, and then the other drain wasn't working. And Sunday night I started freaking out because I was just swelling and swelling and swelling, and nothing was able to drain, and I couldn't figure out how to get the drain unclogged. Dr. Song had clinic hours Monday, so he just told me to come in first thing Monday morning, which we did, and he just went ahead and took care of my first post-op appointment that day. A lot of my freak out had really been in my head. I was really not that swollen, but it's just, you know, at 2, 3, 4 in the morning when you're in a lot of pain, you don't know what's going on, you feel uncomfortable, you can just imagine all of the internal stitches undoing themselves. It's easy to kind of get yourself psyched out. He actually ended up removing the drain that wasn't working very well. And the other one, he got the other one working again. And just removing that drain, really, just first off, I've heard so many different things about drain removal. For some people it hurts, for some people it just feels weird. I really barely felt it. It definitely didn't hurt. Felt a little strange, but not a big deal at all, and took like 2 seconds. So don't stress out about that. I think if it hurts, it's probably kind of unusual. Anyway, once he got it out, a lot of fluid came out of the hole, and he kind of palpated my abdomen, and that gave me just a ton of relief. So that was really the worst of my swelling. I'm knocking on wood, and I'm not sure this might be faux wood. I've had remarkably little swelling since then. The first 5 days, I definitely had noticeable swelling. Obviously that Sunday night, it was the most noticeable, but it's not been bad at all. He told me if I was laying around watching TV, I could loosen the binder, but I've been religious about it until, not last night, but the night before last. I went ahead and loosened it while I was sleeping. I am still sleeping in the recliner, and I was a bit swollen in the morning, but not like a huge amount, like certainly not, enough. I went ahead and tightened it, and I've kept it on pretty religiously since then. I don't want to get too cocky about it. I'm 2 weeks post-op today. I know a lot of folks have talked about dealing with swell hell, 4, 5, 6 weeks out, even if they maybe didn't have a lot of swelling before, so I'm not out of the woods. A couple other things. That first post-op appointment, they took all of the yellow tape off of my incisions. I had showered for the first time on Thanksgiving, which was 2 days post-op, but all of the incisions were covered with that yellow tape. And then I had showered again on Saturday. And then so Monday night, I showered. That was the first time without my stepmom's help because she was sick and we agreed that she needed to not come over. So I basically did most of it on my own. And just kind of had my husband in the next room, and he came in and helped me with some of the taping, but he cannot handle the incisions at all, so I had to always make sure I kept all that covered. But so that was the first time I really was able to see everything. Still had one drain in at that point. The incisions are kind of scary looking, and my tummy tuck. The breast incisions are almost, I mean, they're kind of weird, like they almost don't, they're almost invisible already. I did have, when he was cleaning me up that Monday morning, he accidentally, I think, pulled off a bit of a scab on the side of my right breast. And that kept bleeding for a couple of days, but it kept getting less and less, and I just kept monitoring it. It seems to have stopped now, and there's a thick, hard scab there, so I'm trying to be careful there. I have some hardness up under my armpits on the sides of my breasts. It's where most of the bruising is. It doesn't hurt too bad. He wants me to massage that as much as I can tolerate to try and get the hard lumpiness out. That's a side effect of the lipo. I've got some other lumpy bits on my sides and down my back where the lipo was, and I'm massaging those as I can, but I have to be careful there with that spot that had opened up, so I'm focusing more on the left right now. I go back to see the doctor again on Thursday, and then I'll ask him again about that. Every now and then a little bit of oozing and stuff from the breast incisions, but very, very little. Bandaging, I've finally gotten it down to a science. I'm using way more tape. Like when they bandage me at the doctor's office, she basically just uses roll gauze and then just a piece of tape across the top of it, but it doesn't stay in place very well. I'm a little bit more anal about it when I do it myself. So I kind of have it down to a science. I really wanted to wash my hair this morning, but I realized I didn't have enough to rebandage myself after a shower. So I'm going to wait till tonight when my husband and I can make a CVS run. The incisions I've gotten used to them. They're still kind of ugly looking. I'm not going to show them to you right now because I don't want to unbandage myself, but I will show you the bandaging that I have on right now. I had a huge scab around my belly button. That's the only, he told me to start putting Bactrin ointment on that just to keep it soft because he wanted to fall off on its own. It did fall off today. So I put a little bit more polybacterin and put a piece of gauze over it. I've been keeping it uncovered up until then, but I haven't used the hospital binder since the first 5 or 6 days. I had bought a spare one that's actually been my favorite one. That's the one that I got from Dr. Reith's online store. He's a plastic surgeon in Kentucky. And then I borrowed a smaller one from a friend who had a tummy tuck in August. I'm really short-waisted. So the one that I borrowed from her is the only one that doesn't come all the way up to my breasts, which I sometimes like. But it's not, it's a little bit worn out because she used it for a long time. So I actually just put my spare one back on when I doctored my belly button a few minutes ago, and I just changed the dressings and I changed my bra. For my bra, I'm not even putting any gauze on the nipples or the upward incisions anymore. Basically what I do is I take Kotex maxi pads. Actually, I think they're panty liners. They're not the real thick ones. But, they don't have the wings. They're kind of the old-fashioned kind. And they fit perfectly. They right along the side and underneath the breast, and I just stick them on the inside of the surgical bra. I've got 3 surgical bras, and I've got 3 Walmart front closed sports bras. All of them work fine. The surgical bras don't push me together as much. The Walmart bras put a little bit more pressure on the side, which I think is maybe a good thing because of that hardness that needs to be massaged out. But I just changed into a surgical bra. I am looking fantastic. It's ridiculous. I would be perfectly happy to prance around the house in nothing but my bra and panties 24/7 at this point if it weren't a little bit too cold for that, and if it wouldn't completely freak my kids out and probably scar them for life. So I haven't been doing that. My stepson had his court of honor to be inducted in as an Eagle Scout last night, so it was my first kind of public appearance. I put on this one outfit. Now I haven't tried to put on jeans, but I was wearing leggings, and I put on this one outfit that I really should take a picture. I don't know why I didn't, but I'll wear it. I'm going to wear that outfit soon. I looked freaking smoking hot. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. And then I decided to tone it down a notch because it was my stepson's night. And a lot of people know about the surgery and were excited to see me and wanted to ask a bunch of questions. And I didn't want to kind of upstage him. And I know that sounds incredibly conceited but I freaking looked hot. I just can't even describe it to you. So I still wore something where I looked pretty freaking awesome, got tons of compliments. My husband said a lot of people said things to him out of my hearing too about how fantastic I look. So that was just awesome. I just kind of soaked that up and loved being there for my stepson, who's an Eagle Scout, and we're so proud of him, and my husband got all choked up, so it was a really good night. Activity wise, I've spent a couple hours at work on Friday and a couple of hours yesterday. I feel great when I go in. I'm like, this is going to be great. I can easily, 5 or 6 hours is what I keep thinking I'm going to do. And then after about 2, I am literally swaying on my feet about to fall over. It's just weird. I feel energetic. I feel fine. And then if I'm doing anything other than even if I'm laying in my recliner, after a while I have to nap. There's just so much internal healing going on, and it's easy to forget that when you're feeling good and you don't see it on the outside and you've got clothes on and everything's covered up, and you do have to take it easy. You really do. So my husband has decreed that I'm home today, staying in my pajamas, watching stupid reality TV, and just chilling out. Because we've got to run payroll on Thursday. I still haven't done the accounting for November, closed out the month yet. That's all in the bookkeeper for our family business, so that's all making me anxious. But it can let it go one more day, and I'll start plugging away. If I can do a few hours the next, each day the rest of this week, a few hours, Saturday and Sunday this weekend, we'll get there. So anyway, let me give you a little bit of a look at what I'm looking like at the moment. Everything about me just feels smaller, and I just look smaller. One of the first people that saw me the day that I came into work, he just kind of looked shocked, and he was like, wow, you're tiny. And I was like, yes, I've always been tiny inside here somewhere. So the advice of wearing something under the binder is well taken. I got a lot of these this is the same material as the camisoles I got from Costco, but this is a long sleeved one because it is cold this week. It's just really soft and lightweight. So I've been wearing one of these, or a, let me turn this down a little bit, or a camisole underneath my binder since about the 5th or 6th day, because I really started getting some irritation on my skin. A lot of my skin's still very numb, but it's starting to itch at the same time, so it's kind of just a weird combination. So, pull down my pajamas. Like I said, this is the spare binder that I bought from that online store. The reason I like it is that there's kind of 2 pieces to it. And even though I'm short-waisted, I can take this top piece when I do it second and kind of angle it down so it's not right up under my breasts. And then I can do the bottom part separate. So I don't know if you remember my pre-op pictures. At some point I'll put together a video that's just still photos in sequence, and here I'll uncover my belly button. That scab just fell off, so there's a little bit of bleeding. Now this tattoo used to be up here, and it used to be much smaller, so it got stretched out. And I told the doctor, I said, just put the belly button wherever makes the most sense. So it's kind of weird right now, and I'm going to have to figure out at some point I may do some lasering to lighten it up and then cover it up with something. But now that that scab's fallen off around my belly button, he said we're going to put a silicone earplug inside my belly button. My next visit, which will be Thursday, to start making it more of an innie. But I'm really actually quite happy. See if I can get a little bit closer with how it's looking. Just trying to ignore the redness around it. Let's see. Oh, we took out my second drain when I went back this past Friday. I'm not sure my hoopah here. So that's where how I've done my bandaging. The incision is basically right along here, so it's really low. It goes really far back because I wanted him to do a lot of lipo back here. So you can see this bruising has faded a lot since the first week. I've got a couple of stab incisions along the sides where he did the lipo. Got one there, there's another one down here. So this, and the incision is completely, it's straight across here. It comes up and then it kind of goes down a little bit on the sides. I'm not sure what that's about, but it looks like it's going to be no problem at all to cover. I have, like, I can feel a little swelling right here. I mean, I'm a little swollen right now, but I don't know. I've heard so many women complain about swelling. This amount of swelling doesn't bother me. This is still 8 billion times better than I ever was before. So I'm thrilled to death with this. Now my drains were in a slightly different place than a lot of folks. He didn't put them on the hips and he doesn't put them down here. My drains were right about here. So I've had one issue. The second drain he took out, in fact it's underneath here. It's taking, this one closed up, dried up really fast. This one kind of stayed wet and it just was worrying me. So I've been rebandaging that, making sure I keep it dry. It's not smelly, it doesn't seem to be infected or anything. In fact, it may be closed up now, but I'll check it next time I change my bandaging. So that's where my drains were. So there you go. This is hard to see because there's so much sunlight coming in. But here's my boobs. They look like they are solid C's as far as I can tell. The Walmart sports bras I've been wearing have been, I had 2 of them that were band size and I got a 38. I'm normally a 36, but just so that it wouldn't be so tight. I've got those Kotex pads in here. I don't know if you can kind of see them under there or not. And I don't have anything over my nipples right now. And then I've got one of the Walmart sports bras I have was just a small, medium, or large size, and I'm wearing a medium, which is pretty freaking awesome. So there you go. That's how things are looking now. I'm super, super excited. Can't wait. I've got our company Christmas party on Saturday night, and I've got an array of dresses upstairs that, oh wait, I was going to cover my belly button back up, that I've worn many times before, but always with Spanx. So I'm super excited to wear one of those dresses without any Spanx and not have to worry about it at all. The Velcro on these things is something else, folks. It's not to be trifled with. It gets stuck to everything. If my husband's around, I'll get him to help me with this to make it a little bit tighter, but I've gotten pretty good, I think, at doing it on my own. There we go. All right, my phone's ringing. Bye, YouTube land.